Governance entails that those who are presiding on like I've mentioned, my name is Equitable. Those of you that are watching us on a Muvi TV decoder, comment section, and we'll be able to read through your comments. If at all it is a question, I'll be able to pose your questions to my guests on the program. Two political parties are being represented tonight on Blunt Talk. I have Mwenya Matafwali representing the Patriotic Front PF, who is also an aspiring candidate for Munali constituency here in Lusaka. Mwenya Matafwali, good evening and welcome to Blunt Talk.
Good evening, thanks.
Thank you so much. Also, the Republic is represented by Cussias Akapelwa. Cussias Akapelwa, good evening and welcome to Blunt Talk.
Thank you and good evening viewers.
Gentlemen, the rules of the game are very simple. I'll pose a question to you. If I pose a question, you've got 3 minutes to respond to the question. If at all Mr. Matafwali, there is something that Akapelwa has said and you want to rebut to that, when I pose a question to you, within to be able to respond, whether to clarify or to react to what Akapelwa will say. Equally the same with you, Mr. Akapelwa. If there is something that Mr. Matafwali has said and you want to rebut or you want to shed more light, within your 3 minutes you'll be able to do that, whether to start by responding to my question or to respond to what your colleague has said. These are the rules of the game. Mr. Mwenya Matafwali, how should I refer to you tonight? Should I say Mwenya Matafwali, MM?
Whichever suits you.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with both.
Cussias Akapelwa, how should I address you tonight? Should I say Cussias Akapelwa, Cussias, or Sie?
Oh, just Cussias is good.
Thank you so much. These are the rules of the game. Matafwali, are we ready for Blunt Talk?
Let's go for it.
Cussias, are you ready for Blunt Talk?
Of course we are.
Thank you so much. Let me start with you, Mwenya Matafwali. We are looking at governance and accountability. Many are the times that people have, labeled leaders to say these leaders are not accountable. They are not keeping their promises. And in this governance, the style of governance is that they can say whatever they want to say and they are not accountable to the people. I'll be able to pose that question. But first of all, my director tells me that we need to go for a short break. When we are back, we'll continue with Blunt Talk. This is Blunt Talk. If this is when you're joining us, this is Blunt Talk. Take a short break. Be back.
This is Zambia, Christian nation. Yeah. Give us.
We are only 2.5 hours away from Lusaka. Who told you that you can't get that great holiday or getaway weekend at Freshview Hotel? With Pay Slow or Lay-By, your payments via Zamtel Kwacha, Airtel Money or MTN Money straight to Freshview Hotel with your Chilimba groups. It's simple. You have always done miracles with your Chilimba, and this time, make it work to experience the life at Freshview Hotel. Sunset and rise of the world's greatest lake. Boat cruises, bright, spacious accommodation, packed with exciting activities. Ngati mulina Chilimba, ndiye chansi ka na chansi ya menei kuponya chape 2 months na holiday chakungwirani. For bookings, reservations, and more information, email freshviewhotel@gmail.com or visit our website freshviewhotel.co.zm. Call us now on 0972 01 2591. Call 0960 276351. Freshview Hotel.
We're giving you the chance to boost your multi-bet winnings. To activate your boost, create your bet slip, check your boost, and place your bet. It's that simple. The more selections you add, the bigger your boost. Visit Betway online now. Betway, for the love of the game.
Strong and refined, the skincare you deserve. Dream.
This is Zambia, this the nation.
When you've just joined us, this is Monday's edition of Blunt Talk, today the 8th of February in the year 2021. Two political parties are being represented tonight on Blunt Talk. I have Cussias Akapelwa representing the Republican Progressive Party, RPP, as well as Mwenya Matafwali representing the ruling party, the Patriotic Front. The topic of discussion is governance and accountability. You can join the conversation. Those of you that are watching us on Facebook, Ask Muvi. You can ask your question by posting on the comment section. You'll be able to ask. I'll be able to ask your question on your behalf, or if better still, you can comment on the program. Gentlemen, let me start with you, Mr. Matafwali. How important is accountability in governance? Your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you for that question. I think accountability is very cardinal, very important in governance, because for a reason that people actually puts you in power or in a position of leadership is to ensure that all resources go to where they're supposed to be. In an event that you put a leader that doesn't have the feel or what the people on the ground want, then you find that most of the resources actually will find their way out of the programs that you may have prepared, or the things that you want to do for the people. So if you put somebody who is accountable, all the resources will be channeled, and you will start seeing developmental projects, or you achieve what you intended to do from the inception. Because for one actually to even think of taking a position, there are certain things that he wants to achieve. So now, in an event that you put a leader who's full of himself and he only thinks of himself, we find that resources they will be missing. So development won't take place. The area of interest where you wanted to govern the people and what you wanted to achieve for the people won't be achieved. So accountability is very cardinal in leadership.
Thank you so much. Cussias, how important, or is it always important that leaders should be held accountable? Is accountability important?
Well, thank you very much, comrade, for having invited us at short notice. As RPP, I think when you take a responsibility of government and you are ushered into office to take responsibility over its people, it's very important that we realize that at one time or the other, you should be held accountable. Accountable in the sense that you are presiding on people's resources. so you don't then become immortal. And its people of that nation are mandated to hold you accountable because those resources are God-given resources. So when you're ushered into office, it's very important that punitive action as leaders are taken over and ensure that you safeguard people's resources, our resources. Because if you don't do so, then you realize that misplaced priorities fall into place. Corruption becomes an order of the day. Because of selfish interests, you then start not realizing what is important in that sect. So I think the government has its own obligations where they have to ensure that accountability should be a cornerstone to safeguard people's resources. I think in little terms, I would simply say it's very important when you're ushered into office to safeguard people's resources.
Thank you so much. Matafwali, from the time that the ruling party or the governing party, the Patriotic Front, took over power from the MMD in 2011 to date, you're about to clock 10 years. Do you think your party has lived to its mandate of being accountable as they are discharging the duties of government and also looking after the affairs of the Zambian people? Do you think the PF has lived to that expectation of being accountable to Zambians?
Thanks for that question. Precisely. I think actually they have done more than people expected. If you look at the type of the president that you have, as in PF, we started with the late President Michael Chilufiasata, may he so rest in peace, who promised actually to change the face of Zambia. After his demise, actually, people thought that was the end of PF. Little did they know that Mr. Sata had a lot of students actually that were learning from him. Then came His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chaugalungu. You have seen the massive, actually I can say the humongous developmental projects that have taken place in the country. We can't just talk about the infrastructure alone, but even in human resource. So if you talk about PF, what they have done, whether they have been accountable, if they were not accountable, the type of developmental projects that you see in the country, they cannot be there. So the type of the head of state that we have, I've never seen a person or a head of state who is accountable like His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu. It's only in Zambia where they pronounce that a minister has stolen this with his flag, he drives to Anti-Corruption Commission. So all these functionary departments of the governments, the DEC, the SEC, they are functional. The government or people you think like in brackets, the minister, they don't interfere in the manner that these organs operate. If something points at you that, okay, you misuse the resources here and there, the law will visit you. So, in a nutshell, we have a president who is a lawyer, and I think we are governed by the law. So, PF, I think, has governed the nation, and they have been accountable to that effect.
Cussias, many other times that you, the opposition, or people that are in the opposition, have labeled the ruling party, have labeled the PF, that they are not accountable in their governance style. There have never been, accountability in the way they are discharging or they are using the resources of the republic. Matafwali is telling us that it is only in Zambia where we have this head of state who is very accountable, and they have done far much beyond what people have, expected of them when it comes to issues of accountability. Are you still holding the thoughts of other opposition political parties or opposition political party leaders saying the PF have never been accountable? Or now you agree with Matafwali, say indeed as PF, they have been accountable?
Well, I think Patriotic Front is not the only political party that we've foreseen over the years that is governing and presiding on its people. We've had the UNIP that was there for 27 years plus. It governs its people for 27 years plus. There came MMD, which presided on its people for over 15 years plus. There came Patriotic Front. So over and above, we've seen, personally, I've seen 3 political parties presiding on its people. So I might dissect it in this manner. From my own opinion and observation, we live with the people. We mingle with people, and we see. We read. We digest, we scrutinize. As RPP, we must hasten say here that Mr. Matafwali is not truthful to himself. Because if there's been the worst, in fact, I don't even call it the PF government, I'll call it in its term, in totality, regime. This has been the worst regime ever that has presided on its people with impunity, that does not regard anybody as a countryman. You cannot say PF has managed the economy well. We are where we are today because of the PF regime. The economy right now, as we speak, comrade, is suffocating. We are in serious trouble. A loaf of bread that they found at 6 kwacha has tripled the price. The civil servants, ask any of them if for the past 5 years there's been any increment. The late President Michael Sata, when he ascended into power, may so rest in peace, he came in with the policies that were pro-poor. Pro-poor in the sense that we could see those that we will call helpers. In other words, they would be referred to as maids. All of a sudden, we saw the late president, what we call minimum wage. All of a sudden,
I'm afraid, Cussias,
it's not 3 minutes yet.
Yes, it is 3 minutes. I have a timer. Thank you so much. Your 3 minutes is up. I have my time. And people who are watching us are able to monitor as you are responding. Matafwali, Cussias here says you're not being truthful to yourself because he lives among the people and he has seen 3 successive governments from the UNIP, the MMD, and the Patriotic Front. And let me just put words in his mouth. He has graded you as the poorest when it comes to issues of governance. Apart from infrastructure development, are there other issues that you can point at and say, here we've been accountable and we've managed to deliver to the people? It's because of accountability, and that is why things are the way they are. Or you agree with Cussias to say you've been the worst out of the 3 political parties that have governed Zambia?
Basically, most of the opposition parties in Zambia actually, they behave like a dead person. You know, when you're dead, you don't feel that, you don't feel the pain, but the people around you, they do feel the pain. So in totality, it's what they want, not basically what the people of Zambia wants. We have lived years under 3 different governments, UNIP, MMD, and now under PF. And all these past governments actually they stayed in power for long. PF, we have only been in power for 10 years. 10 years, we are clocking 10 years this year.
Yes.
And what we have done in 10 years can't even be compared to what UNIP did in 27 years. worse of what MMD did in their 20 years. 10 years, under 10 years. We have taken the services to the people. What the people of Zambia wants are the services. In each district, we have built a hospital, a school. These infrastructure, they don't just come as buildings alone, no. They come with employment. So if somebody can say here that PF has not increased the salaries for the civil servants, then that one is a liar. Sorry to use that word. But you call a spade a spade. We have employed teachers, we have employed police officers, we have employed nurses. What more can one ask for? PF has only been in power for less than 10 years. All these infrastructures, talk of the road infrastructure. The companies that are doing those roads, they are not, you may be singing songs, no, it's Chinese. Chinese don't come and do the roads here. Yes, it may be a Chinese company, but the people are working there are Zambians. At the end of the day, they are getting their income. And that's what we want. And that's what you want, you and me, to empower a Zambian. Empowerment comes in different ways. You empower a Zambian, some with a salary, some with a project. When you give them a project, they do that project, and PF doesn't choose that, okay, just going to give these projects to PF members alone. No, we are all Zambians. It doesn't look at you, it doesn't look at your area where you're coming from, it just looks at you as a Zambian. So, no tribalism, no favors whatsoever, no regionalism, no all sorts of ism and isms, but as Zambians, and as Zambians we are developing together. If you see where we were 20 years ago, the merge the 27 years of UNIP and 20 years of MMD, and what we have done this time as PF, the country is going forward. The country has changed its face, and you're even proud to say, now I'm Zambian.
Thank you so much, and you are within your 3 minutes. Cussias, you talked about the PF when they came into power with the promise of them being a pro-poor government. Matafwali says they have lived according to what they have been promising the people. They have created jobs. They have, built hospitals. They have taken health services closer to the people. Schools are there. Infrastructures are there. They have employed people in government. Those that haven't been employed, at least in one way or the other, they have found something to do through projects and empowerment. And you as the opposition, why do you think the PF government or the PF have failed to deliver or to be accountable when you are able to see hospitals, you are able to see schools, you are able to see roads that they have built, and you are able to see people being employed? Why do you still have that in mind to say they haven't when you are actually able to see? Your 3 minutes has started.
First of all, well, maybe I might put it in this context. Maybe it's misplaced priorities. Each government, when it forms, each party when it forms government had its own priorities that it has to put before its people. Suffice to say, look here, comrade, when you say you've employed, the PF government has employed, what was their target and how many have they employed insofar, suffice to say? Because as far as I know, the employment levels in this country are worse than before any other government. Secondly, these hospitals and infrastructure developments that they are being pronounced, as we speak right now, we do appreciate that hospitals have been built. The question is the content in those hospitals. Already, they have expired drugs in these very hospitals. So, when we talk about the roads, these roads, we have noticed that the moment a road is done, with inflated figures, the same stretch of the road that was costing $3.2 million US dollars. Today, as we speak, under Patriotic Front regime, is triple the price. To whose effect does it fall back on? Is to you and me, to me and Mr. Matafwali here. So the bone of contention here, in as much as we want to appreciate the infrastructure development, the question still lies and lingers around the Zambian people. These infrastructure development that are all capital projects that have suffocated the other side of the economy is what is making us cry and complain here economically. The economic sense would have been, I should manage to have at least 3 square meals, or at least minimum 2 square meals a day. How many Zambian people are managing that today? 2 meals squarely. My brother, just carry out a litmus test, go to Mrs. We mingle with these people. People are living in total squalor. I don't know where my comrade dear Matafwali lives, but as we go around these places, and it's the same people, the Zambian people, that will tell you, at least we do appreciate the roads. At least they could have at least saved up to a certain degree, where even the highest denomination of a kwacha cannot buy you staple food.
Thank you so much. Your 3 minutes up. Matafwali, you talked about job creation and infrastructure. Let's go back to the promises that you made to the Zambian people. Creating more jobs, putting more money in people's pockets, as well as lowering the taxes. Today, the 9 years plus, you'll be clocking 10 years this year. When you look backwards, from the time that you formed government in 2011, the 3 thematic areas of lower taxes, more jobs, as well as putting more monies in people's pockets. Where are we?
Exactly. We are there.
Have you delivered?
It's this government that reduced the tax to 16%. This government. But it's on that sometimes we the people, we want to forget even when you haven't forgotten. Okay? More money in the pocket. This is why I'm talking about the road infrastructures. We didn't promise that we are going to be putting, the way you are seated there will bring money. No, we create opportunities. When you create an opportunity, it's now entirely up to you to take that opportunity and create money. Okay? So when we bring a road, when you bring a clinic, when you bring a school, to you, the road is passing. That's more money in the pocket. Other than you moving all the way, then you're going into town just looking for tomatoes. No, but because now the roads are okay, the roads are clean, you can make your own cantemba and sell your own tomatoes, feed the family. Okay? Killing Cain by killing Abel didn't achieve what Abel had. Okay? Abel is Abel. PF is PF. So all those who are talking negative about PF, they're just jealous of what PF is doing. And I'm saying here that we have been in power for 10 years, and people of Zambia can see hope, even those who are hopeless, because you've got those people who are rich, who've got money, like our friends in opposition, who feel bad that now these services are being taken to the people of Zambia. Now they want to come and be champions. That no, what you are doing for people of Zambia, it's wrong. A bag of meal. No one so far has calculated how much it costs for a farmer to plant a seed, it grows, and you come up with a 25 bag of maize. Meal in Zambia, yes. It may be 90 kwacha there. Go to Congo, our neighbor there. So instead of complaining about some of these things, take advantage, more money in the pocket, become a farmer, have a piece of land, cultivate and grow maize, go and sell in Congo. In Congo, a bag of meal is $100. And here we are busy complaining about 100 kwacha. It's business initiative. This is what the opposition should be bringing on the table, not where they want to condemn, even where the government has scored. This kind of politics will take us nowhere. Let's complement one another. If PF has scored, let's say PF has scored. We have scored in almost all the sectors. All those things, three things we talked about, more money in the pockets, lower taxes, PF has scored. And this is what we promised the people of Zambia. And now we are coming back again to ask for another mandate, of which will come with more promises. And that promises, we shall fulfill them. Why? Because we have a leader that is a leader for all Zambians, not a leader for a region. Just recently, he took over the Mupani mine, and people started complaining, no, we don't have the capacity to run the mines. If you don't have the capacity to run the mine, then you can even start thinking of running a country.
Thank you so much, Mr. Matafwali. Your 3 minutes up. Cussias, instead of you offering checks and balances, Matafwali says you are jealous. And you're not happy because they have delivered to the Zambian people. The same people you're saying are not affording 3 meals a day. Matafwali says because they have delivered, they have responded to people's cries and concerns. Yours as the opposition, instead of complimenting them or saying kudos to the PF, you are jealous of them.
Comrade, there's nothing to be jealous about. The economic hardships here, and I must give guidance to my colleague here. I don't know whom he keeps referring to as a regional party, because I'm representing RPP. So here, as we debate, I think he should refer to RPP. I don't know which political party he's referring to. Suffice to say, I must be very categorical here. Well, do you know that all these projects that Comrade Matafwali is bragging about, I would simply say, any project that you see, comrade, if you are not Patriotic Front, if you are not a Patriotic Front member, then you are not involved economically. It's a reason why I've got so many colleagues who are in PF with whom we labored together at the time that PF was in the opposition. Today, most of these comrades, they make economic sense on one simple premise. It's because you have to be related to so who and who within the government. To some of us who do not have any relations, we shall continue living in squalor. The PF government and its officials today are far much richer than a given fund in the government budget. In less than 10 years, we have a lot of colleagues. Today, most of the colleagues that we used to interact with then, look at what level they are now. This country has been cut across to some that relatively belong to PF and to some that don't. Those that are have become economically powerful, that they cannot even listen to a common person like yourself, my comrade. You know, when wealth gets to your head, when money gets to your head, you cannot even listen to anything. Anything that somebody says, they've become so arrogant, so stubborn, that they've refused to even listen to technocrats of this country, to individuals that can criticize them positively. Instead, the terminology itself pops in, jealousy. Why would we be jealous of our colleagues that we were with then? Today, I want to see a government that shall provide on its people, that shall share the economic resources equitably.
Thank you so much, and your 3 minutes up. Matafwali, you talked about creating opportunities, that you've created opportunities. When you talked about more money in people's pockets, it didn't mean that where I am seated as Chief Okolo, then money will come, but you've created the opportunities. You've given an example of roads whereby somebody can put up a cantemba, where our mothers can even sell tomatoes along the roads. Others have labeled you that the opportunities that you're talking about, only people that are in your party, or people that affiliate themselves, or people that are aligning themselves to PF are the ones who have benefited. And yes, like he has mentioned, to say only those who are in PF have got money, but the majority citizens have got no opportunities, have got nothing to point at to say this is as a result of a government in power, the PF. They have created opportunities, and we are where we are today, living comfortably and managing to have 3 meals a day because of the opportunities. People are saying you've created opportunities for yourselves, and only PF are benefiting.
I think the only thing that I've picked from what my colleague said is equity. And the questions that you're posing to me is all about equity. We are all Zambians, like I said, and I'll keep on referring to this. These other political parties, they are region. Others are just here in Lusaka. Lusaka is also a region. Others are just in Southern Province. Southern Province is also a region. But PF is the only political party that is for all Zambians. That's a party for you. That's a political party for me. Okay? It doesn't choose, even in areas where it wasn't voted for, it has developed those areas. It doesn't choose that, no, because the president is coming from Chawama, then Kawata is not going to be developed. Even Kawata has been developed. These other political parties, when they come into power, that's if they will ever come into power. You'll find that if they stay in Mrs., it's only Mrs. that will develop. But equity for all Zambians, PF is a political party for you and me. It's the only political party without cards. Even you there where you're seated, if you want today, you can start singing and jumping and say, I'm PF, and no one will tell you that you are not PF. Even my colleague here where he's seated, if he wants today from this debate, he can say I'm PF. No one is going to chase him. And you find these projects are there. If you are not participating, don't expect the government to follow you in your house and say, no, come and participate. Because you want to oppose to everything that PF is doing. Okay? It's for all Zambians. These projects are for all Zambians. The roads, we don't choose. Come from your house door, by a roadside. Do what you want and what you feel will put food on your table. Equity is the word. I got it from my brother here. He should be participating in the programs of the government. It's the government for all Zambians. Your government, my government, his government. We don't choose. A wealthy distribution, it's for all Zambians. Your skills are different from my skills. So if you have what it takes, go participate. If you don't have, do some other things that will ensure that you and your family are comfortable. The major thing that one PF wants to achieve is for all Zambians to be comfortable. We can't even start talking about the dollar, those things. We don't control them as a country. Okay? If you look from where we are from and where we are today, where His Excellency is taking the country. Now it's like now we are going industrialization. Not until we start producing for ourselves, then we can even start talking about controlling the dollar. Today, it's only PF that has started piling up gold reserves at Bank of Zambia. From MMG, UNIP, those things, they were never there. So the moment you have the gold reserves, then you can even start talking about controlling the dollar. At the moment, difficult. And we should also be mindful in the time where we are. We are in the very difficult time, Corona time. America just reported a negative GDP. And America is far much bigger than Zambia.
Matafwali. Your 3 minutes up. Cussias, it is not only those that are affiliated to the PF that are benefiting. You are not seeing these benefits because you are still in your house. You don't want to participate. This is a government for all Zambians. My government, your government. And these opportunities are there for you. They are there for me. All you need to do is take a step and participate. You are complaining because you don't want to participate. All you want to do is to politic.
Comrade, politics is a word itself, which should define its actions. And the actions that come with it are those that should target the Zambians in general. Here we are, you and I, comrade, cannot shy away from speaking the truth. Banzatu bambiri bane bapezeka mu compounds, mavuto, they are too much. We cannot even sit here and pretend. The poverty levels in this country have been too much. Let me give you an example. Comrade, some of us have survived economically in all these governments. The little that we earn, that we make, are not politically connected. We've had colleagues, I've given you very few examples. We've had colleagues with whom, are you telling me, Comrade Chifokola, that most of our colleagues that were with, then when PF was in government, there's 16 million Zambians and a few individuals that are aligned to PF are more connected, or rather think better than the rest of other Zambians. I'm asking this question on simplicity terms because I personally interact with the people on the grassroots. I can tell you, comrade, to say I've seen the economic mayhem amongst our citizens. I cited an example earlier on to say the PF government found a loaf of bread at 6 kwacha. Today is triple the price. Comrade here is citing on issues that we can't talk about the dollar. The reason why the dollar is where it is today, it's because of the PF policies. There's nothing else.
Not because of Corona.
Which Corona? When did Corona come? How many months ago? At what time? When was, how much was the dollar then? And this thing of wanting to, you were telling me to say these other countries are not experienced or undergoing what they are going through.
He has mentioned America.
You cannot compare an individual who lives in Kablonga and the person who lives in Mrs. Does it equate economic sense? It can't. Let us compare ourselves within African nations. We have Tanzania here. We have Kigali, Rwanda here. The comparatives should correlate in what we are talking about. Other countries have taken advantage of the corona. And here, us, we keep crying about Corona. We are not taking advantage of its situation. The policies of the PF government has brought us where we are today.
Thank you so much. Your 3 minutes up. Matafwali, you talked about Corona and our kwacha losing value, and you gave an example of America. Cussias here says we are where we are today. The dollar is performing poorly because of your policy.
Let me say this. I think from my preamble, I did say that sometimes, when we are faced with these calamities, we have to take the chance and the opportunity that comes with the challenges. There is an opportunity cost here. He's trying to compare Zambia and Tanzania. Okay? Zambia, Congo, Zambia, South Africa, Zambia, Angola.
Zambia, Rwanda.
Exactly. And this is what I said from the inception. He doesn't want to participate. If there is a country where there is a fertile land, it's in Zambia. And I just gave an example here. Okay? A bag of meal meal in Zambia costs 100 kwacha, 120 kwacha. A bag of meal meal in Congo costs $100. So if we all came together, Zambians, and started producing and feed Congo, feed Angola, feed Malawi, these things that you're talking about would be a thing of the past. But our friends want to be armchair critics. They want to see you fail. They are jealousy. Okay? There's nothing that they're bringing on the table to work together as Zambians. All they want is you have to fail. Let's take an opportunity here. There's an opportunity cost of growing maize in Zambia than growing maize in Congo. There's an opportunity cost of growing maize here in Zambia than growing maize in the same Tanzania, the examples that you're giving. Zambia, those social studies we were learning long ago, we were told it's landlocked.
Yes.
Okay? Tanzania, the country that is talking about, it's not landlocked. Even for us to transport our crude oil and the likes, we use Tanzania. So which means there is some money that we living in Tanzania. So comparing Zambia and Tanzania, yes, it can work if our friends stop being armchair critics and participate in the economy, in growing the economy of Zambia. Let's not just try to point fingers at one another. I said it here. Cain, by killing Abel, didn't become Abel. That was given to Abel. At this time, at this moment, we have our own Abel, who is His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu. If all these people who are trying to oppose his style of governance came to the forward and say, okay, this is the man that God has given us. Mind you, leadership comes from God. If you read Romans 13, it will tell you, respect people in authority. Not this type of politics that I see nowadays, where people just wakes up, no, you're not doing anything. What are you doing, you yourself, for your country? The answer is nothing.
Thank you so much. Let's move on. Cussias, the fight against corruption. We did see the PF, through the media director, said we are seeing these reports of corruption because the PF government has put in mechanisms and systems to detect corruption, and that is why you are seeing these reports of corruption day in, day out. It doesn't mean they are corrupt, but it's because they are putting mechanisms to fight and detect corruption. Do you think the PF government has what it takes? And so far, the 9 years plus, have they managed to fight corruption, according to you, as an opposition leader?
Wow, corruption is the word. First of all, I want to be very categorical here because of time. The corruption with the PF regime is in two folds. There's corruption for those that oppose, and there's corruption for those that impose. Those that Comrade here is actually calling us because we are opposing, that we are jealous. We might even be cited for corruption because we are opposing. Then the honeybee scandal today, who has been arrested? That's a question that begs for an answer. The PF regime has become a capitalist party, to a point that those that are elite are protected to the core. And us that would oppose, from here henceforth with comrade, they can even be cited for corruption, for opposing. Now, when we talk about corruption, we've had so many scandals in this country. One of them I've just highlighted. Those that were involved, that put people's lives, Zambian lives, in harm's way, that are supposed to be accounted for their deaths. Because, comrade, when you take expired drugs, the minimum and the chances of you surviving cannot be there. Every minute, every second, those gloves health professionals use were supplied, expired. The morning after our women, our mothers take, the condoms that are used for protection were expired. It's unfortunate that we are in Zambia. We cannot even be able to account how many injuries and deaths those materials have costed its citizens. And then we want to stand here and say the PF government has been the best in terms of what I would simply say, curtail the corrupt elements, and then all those kind of words that I cannot even, I don't know if there's any other word that I can use to place them with. You see, comrade, we are where we are here economically strained because of corruption. There's nothing else.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Your 3 minutes up. Matafwali, the 9 years plus that you've been in power, accusations are coming from the opposition that you failed to fight corruption. Do you agree with sentiments that are coming from people that you failed to fight corruption?
No,
or you agree with your media director that you've put in mechanisms to fight and detect corruption?
Exactly. I totally disagree with sentiments that you have failed to fight corruption. Let me state it clearly here. If we have the head of states in Africa, if there is a man who fights corruption, I've never seen any head of state who fights corruption like His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwarungu. I said it in my preamble here. It's only a PF minister that you see being called and questioned by the Anti-Corruption or the Drug Enforcement Commission. And this happened. I will give you an example. When we had Chimba Kambwiri, what happened? The Anti-Corruption failed to prove and convict Dr. Chimba Kambwiri. Today, we have Dr. Chimba Kambwiri, because also now, he also felt that he wasn't protected by his party. The sentiments that are coming from my colleagues that those from the party are being protected. I've given an example of Dr. Chimba Kambwiri. I can go on. I can give an example of Chitotera. Zambians, we are big talk. And the only biggest challenge we have these opposition political parties is pull him down. I want to see you down. When you are doing fine and you are doing okay, you are corrupt. When you are a failure, then they will sing all glory songs for you. Look what had happened. He's given an example of Annie B. That case actually has even gone to court. That case of Annie B has gone to court. So I can't even comment much on it. If you are a minister, it doesn't make you become a procurement officer. These offices, even when you come into power, you find the civil servants working in these offices. So if one person is corrupt, it doesn't paint the whole political party that it's a corrupt regime, or it's a corrupt political party, or it has corrupt leaders. No. We had found these the same civil servants that were there in MMD are the same civil servants. We didn't victimize anyone, and I think kudos should be given to PF. This is what I'm telling you. PF is a political party for everyone. What we want is to better the lives of the Zambians. Stop being armchair critics. Stop being pull him down. If someone is doing fine, give him a pat.
So in corruption, you've done very well.
Very well. That's why in PF, like Mwanza said, you can hear about these corrupt elements because we are fighting it. If we are not fighting it, we're even going to hear about corruption. We are able to hear that, okay, there are corrupt elements in this ministry or in that area because we are fighting it. If you are not fighting it, it will just be dead just like that.
Thank you so much. Cussias, many are the times that the opposition has been labeled of not having a clear message to convince the Zambian people why they should believe in you or why they should vote for you as an opposition political party. Yours is to criticize government. How difficult it is for opposition political parties to come up with a message to convince Zambian people?
The problem that the opposition is facing right now is a sorry sight. Why do I say so? The political landscape has dissected in a manner that is not pleasing at all. Like I said from the preamble, that there are two sects of citizens in this country. There are those that are super special, and those that are moderate, if you say anything, or when you criticize the government, you think you are better than them. But ours is to ensure that we remind our colleagues that where they are today, they were there before. When me, Cussias, criticize the government and I see the foes that which the government is failing to preside on its citizens, is because I'm experiencing them. I might be labeled in however that my colleague feels that I'm jealousy and I'm criticizing. They were in the opposition before. They were given a platform where they could campaign freely. Of course, there were certain traces where the late President Michael Sata was antagonized here and there. But I do reckon and remember vividly well that at the time that the late President Sata was campaigning, it was very unusual to see then President Rupia Banda would follow him wherever he was. The political, let me take you back. When Michael Sata lost the then previous elections before he formed government, he could advise his followers to forget about the loss and start campaigning now. I live in Kabwata. If I can tell you that amidst COVID, we are only seeing PF flags hovering around our roads and our compounds. In this city, Lusaka, the opposition political parties, they cannot even be there to do that. Amidst COVID, the same restrictions that are being applied on the opposition, they are not being applied on the ruling party. So where is the political level playing field in that sense? And then when we stand here and bring this to light, we are labeled. We've had the most autocratic regimes in this world. At one time or the other, the time of reckoning came and they fall. PF should not think they would be there forever.
Thank you so much. Your 3 minutes is up. Matafwali, as we are winding down, 2020, we are in 2021 and August is fast approaching. Why do you think, you said you are bouncing back, you are coming back with more promises, and according to you, you've delivered on the promises that you made.
Exactly.
Why should Zambians still bring you back or maintain you?
Why should Zambians bring PF back? Thank you. One, because PF has delivered. Two, we have a God-fearing president. Three, these infrastructures that you are seeing, if you don't bring PF back, we'll go back to the calendar days. Let me say this about the opposition political parties. PF had good intentions. Even you remember when we went through the referendum, those are the things that makes you empowered. You have a law that is supporting you. But what happened? The opposition, they campaigned that, and we lost. And as a listening government, we said, this is what the Zambians want. We lost. Apart from that, Bill 10 came. That wanted to empower the youths, that wanted to empower the physically challenged. But again, what happened? The opposition campaigned against it, and we lost. Okay? But Zambians are not blind. Zambians can feel the development. Zambians know that we are heading into Jerusalem. So it will be suicidal at this moment to try any political party with the amount of power. Power corrupts. For those who have never been in power, we are in power, we are feeling it. And we are very, very careful with the manner that we handle this power. Because when you are in a position of leadership, your job is to protect the weak. And that's what His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagarungu is doing. That's the reason he's taking all these developments into these all.
Thank you so much,
combos.
We have to go. Cussias, we have to go. Maybe under a minute, your concluding remarks?
No, under 3 minutes.
we are
No,
have to
but
go.
it's 3 minutes of it.
We have to go.
Mr. Chifokolo, what the PF government would have done was to suspend at least 3 flyover bridges and would have taken the resources to Kafiwe and ensure that the Kafiwe fertilizer plant is empowered to ensure that the fertilizer is produced to full capacity. So then it does not make economic sense to have flyover bridges around the city and let people suffer and suffocate, impoverished economically, where the highest domination of a kwacha cannot even buy a bag of staple food.
Thank you so much, Cussias.
But Mr. Cussias has never been to Mount Facility Zones.
Thank
Those
you so
fertilizers
much.
and things he's
If
talking
this is
about,
when
they are
you've just
there.
joined us, this has been Blunt Talk on your award-winning channel Choice, Monday's edition, the 8th of February. I've been, the people that have been battling it out, Cussias Akapelwa, representing the Republican Progressive Party, RPP, as well as Mwenya Matafwali, representing the Patriot Front, PF, who is also Munali Constituency 2021 aspiring candidate. For me, Kelvin Dabola Chifokolo. If this is when you've just joined us, Wasangana today. Good night.
This is Zambia, the home of copper.